Well, early on in my journey to become an infosec professional, I just kind of wanted to become as broadly skilled as I could in as many ways as I could. So I went for networking, cybersecurity, a little bit of programming, just informatics, everything I could get my hands on, really. IT support is what I did to start as a job. And once I got into some higher level certifications, eligibility for higher level certifications, the certified ethical hacker exam was high on my list because it wasn't quite as expensive as some of the other options out there, but it's still pretty widely regarded as a bit of a next level cert beyond entry level. And to be honest, I like the name. I wanted to think of myself as a hacker, and I like to believe that I am. So it's something that I think executives and HR professionals look at and think that this person's technical. And I tend to work for companies that are large. So getting past that first HR step to even get to the technical people and the technical interviews was important for me. Also, it just happens to provide Department of Defense IAT level 2, I believe, qualification, and that's important for any kind of defense contracting work. Well, I think the primary benefit for me has been just helping me get a firm understanding of all the kind of skills involved with getting into infosec in the first place, or all the terminology, a lot of the concepts, just really getting that strong foundation. It's kind of that mile wide, inch deep kind of understanding so that you can speak the lingo with other industry professionals and sound like you know what you're talking about. And then it also gave me a lot of more in-depth opportunities to kind of dive into the material and do some labs, work with a lot of the programs, work a lot with Kali, things that I enjoyed doing. So for me, it was just a really enjoyable cert, and it helped me really broaden my knowledge of the subject. And then secondary benefits, I think for at least 2 of the jobs that I've gotten, it was essential, maybe 3. But I think it was very advantageous for me. When I interviewed with the Department of Defense and defense contractors, I was able to get offered a position working at a nearby military base, and I ended up not accepting that position, but it got me in the door. It got me the job offer, and it got me what amounts to that IAT level 2 kind of security clearance. I'm not really at liberty to say which clearance it is, just that I think it put me on the radar as a serious candidate for those positions. So in my organization, people are kind of pretty aware of, I work in higher education, and on the academic side, the faculty for information security and IT as a whole are pretty aware of the CEH certification and EC Council. On the more administrative side, or the information security side and our in-house IT, people are usually either aware of it and don't know much beyond that, or they don't know what it is at all. But it always does get follow-up questions, because when you tell somebody you're a certified ethical hacker, it kind of, their eyebrows go up a little bit, because it's become kind of a pop culture term that has some weight associated with it in one way or another, whether that's good or bad. Now, opinions vary in the industry, of course, with regards to the actual certification, but given its price point and the amount of material it covers, and just helping people get further into their understanding of all this complex material that we deal with, I think is a really solid certification. It has a good amount of professional recognition, and the IAT level 2 benefit with the Department of Defense is just invaluable. So people, if nothing else, people really value it for that aspect alone. Certainly, I think it did. I was able to develop an information security training program for all the employees at one of my former companies that I worked for. That company did digital marketing, and they were very receptive to the idea. I was the only IT person at what was a startup, a mid-sized startup at the time. Has since been bought out several times, and they're all doing very well now. But they were really, I was the only IT person there, and they were really interested in letting me kind of take the reins of starting to develop a information security program for that organization. And that was in large part due to my qualifications within infosec. And then later, or maybe before, I can't remember, I developed an information security program for the School of IT where I work, which is the academic side of the larger college. And I think that's been helpful for the interns and employees that followed in that network or domain. So I think it's definitely allowed me to help a lot of people. I've also helped people on the side. There was a law firm that I helped out with some security concerns or just hardening of their systems. And just being able to have that flexibility and capability to help people has been wonderful for me, because I really enjoy that aspect of what I do. Well, as far as I didn't actually get a foot in the door with cybersecurity specifically until about a year ago. I accepted my first information security position with information security in the title. Before that, I was a help desk work study first, and then part-time employee, and then a full-time system and network admin, and full-time IT coordinator. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to understand information security from the perspective of the people that have to keep the technology working or have to fix user problems firsthand, the boots on the ground, as it were. And I think that's a very important step for people that are at least wanting to get into the more policy-oriented kind of side of information security, or the kind of help desk side of what we do. Is just understanding all the ways that it can go wrong or can be insecure or vulnerable, what the attack surface really is, rather than just the academic frameworks or ideas or theories. Because actually having that practical experience of knowing what it's really like in a large organization or an enterprise network helps you a lot when you're actually working in infosec to meet the users where they are, rather than trying to bring a lot of complex infosec theory from the classroom into an organization or an environment where it doesn't apply.